Welcome to this episode of Relatively Famous, the podcast where I, Chip White, interview relatives of famous people. My famous relative, Vanna White of Wheel of Fortune, is my sister. And we are at our comic book location today. It is open, so you may hear some customers in the background. We're super excited because we love to sell comic books on top of podcasting. Today's episode is brought to you by visitmyrtlebeach.com. That's visitmyrtlebeach.com. That's our hometown area. It's an amazing place for family vacations, golf vacations, fishing vacations, scuba diving vacations. There, if you have a sensory-sensitive child or an autistic child, it's a great place for family vacations there. You can learn more about that on Traveling the Spectrum on Peacock, or more about that on visitmyrtlebeach.com. Today's guest is kind of part two of a famous guitarist. I had her father on, Marvin King, on episode number 30, who is the dad of Marcus King. And today we have Holland King, Marcus's sister. And this should be fun, getting to talk, sibling to sibling. So let's welcome Holland King.
Relatively Famous podcast with Chip White.
Holland, welcome to Relatively Famous. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's fun. Your dad, it was great to have him on. I got to see your brother play a couple of times, and amazing. Obviously, as you know, you grew up with him. What was it like musically in your family? Now, I've heard your dad's side of the story. I want to hear your side of the story musically in your family, and are you musically inclined?
Well, growing up, it was literally everyone. It's my grandpa, my dad, my brother. The only one was my grandma, like my oma. She couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. But I did play the saxophone for a while, so I did try, and I actually played in the band at church with them several times before, but it was just not something that pulled at my soul like it pulls at their soul, and I could feel that I was different, and so I'm more of a dancer, and a little bit more of a hell raiser. They're so. You know what I'm saying? They're so just rock on, man. No need for violence.
Yeah.
That's their demeanor, and I've just been a little bit more rough around the edges than they are. So I protect them.
So you're the fighter in the family.
I am. 100% am. That's all I ever heard growing up was them picking, constant picking.
And now, do you sing? I know you said you play saxophone. Do you sing? Can we get you up on stage with Marcus as a backup singer, go on tour?
Now, I love to sing. That don't mean I can sing.
My wife says that about me. She always says, hey, there's only one singer in the family, and it ain't you.
I will sing, but I don't know if anybody wants to hear it, but me.
Okay, so if you're not doing music, tell me a little bit about Holland's life.
Holland's life is, I'm a mommy. I'm a dump truck driver. I've been in the blue collar world.
Dump truck driver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that's not something that you see every day. Beautiful blonde driving a dump truck down the road.
I love it. I sing and dance, and people record me at red lights because I show out in my dump truck. I love my dump truck. I do a lot of paving. We helped a lot of people in North Carolina when Hurricane Helene hit. We cleaned a lot of that disaster up there. But I've been blue collar for a very long time, 10 years plus.
That's okay. Now, we're in San Antonio. We're in Texas, and I have a place up in Kerrville. So the floods are definitely prevalent in my mind. And I remember when it hit in North Carolina, thinking, God, I have friends there, and what, not to be downer, but what was that like going up there? What was that experience like for you? Because the experience I have here is obviously different, but what was that like going, and especially being helpful and seeing that devastation?
Um, I enjoy helping other people. Um, it is definitely a passion of mine. But I don't. The best way I could compare it is if I is war. I've never been to war, but if I were to go to war, that's what it would look like. You see piles of debris with shoes in it, and you're not quite sure if they're connected to anything. And your heart that pulls at my heart. I'm not sure about everyone, but it pulls at my heart because I'm a lifesaver. I'm one of those people that if there's a wreck, I'm gonna be the first one to pull them out. I'm that's just who I am. It's a calling in life, and I know it's a calling, and I tend to it.
Now,
So, but it was definitely scary in a dump truck because you're, all the roads, going up those mountainous areas, as you're backing up, the road is gone. So you're backing up to nothing. And as you're backing up, you're looking from side to side. You got 1,500, 2,000 foot drops with just rocks falling as you're going backwards. And my motto is just send it. Just send it.
well, I'm sure that the locals that they really appreciated your help, because I know that here in Texas, man, everyone was appreciative of everything that everybody did. Now, you said you're a mom. Tell me about your boys. Tell me what you love about them and what drives you over the edge. Because I can tell
Or,
you what drove my mom over the edge about me.
um, I'm a boy mom. My kids are 11 and 13. And, so we're big into football. We're big in, outdoor. I'll take them fishing. I do all the things. But the fighting, they will, they're quick to wrestle. Boys are gross. They're really gross. They try to master some sort of, let's see how far we can stand from the toilet and see until we make it. I mean, there's a lot of factors of driving me crazy, but the reward is so worth it because they're so loving. They're so loving, and it's something that I would never change ever in my life. Even though I started very early, I started early, but I'll be 40 and they'll be grown,
Yeah.
and I'll be sad.
Well, then you'll be able to go and do some things that you want to do. I started late, and my kid's 25 and I'm 65, so he's almost 26. So
That's how Marv is, because I'm 31, and Marv is 71 or 72.
yeah,
So, and mine was opposite. I had my oldest at 17, so he's 13 and I'm 31.
yeah.
And so,
Maybe I think your dad and I talked some about it. I don't think I would have been ready or a good dad had I had a kid younger. I was definitely in a position in life where I would not have been a good role model. And your dad, we talked about our struggles, and that seems like he's done very well with raising you and Marcus, though.
yes, he has 100%.
So tell me, what are some of the memories? Because your dad talked about your grandfather playing and them playing together and the guitars. What are some of the memories you have of shows? And did you go to shows with your dad, or what's some of the really cool musical memories you have? Let's start with your dad, then we'll go to your brother.
Well, to be honest, my brother was always played with my dad. My brother has played fluently since he was about 5 or 6 years old. And I was a skateboarder. I would jump off of houses, trees, and I would like beg him, come outside and play with me. And he was like, I'll go out there and watch you. And he has this, I've got it. I've got his original miniature Les Paul, which was his very first guitar. And he would sit and watch me do all this reckless stuff and just sit there and play that guitar and just look at me like, wow, she's doing more crazy things. I remember one time, because it's my house and then my grandmother's house. We live side by side, and there's a brick wall that's in between. And I thought that it would be a phenomenal idea to be Mary Poppins. And it does make logical sense that if you have an umbrella, the wind pushes up, you're going to slowly go down. Well, I jumped off this roof with confidence and went down like a cinder block. And he didn't even move. He just still steady shredding that guitar and watched me straight almost die in the front yard. But he's always played on stage with my daddy. And my job was I had to sit behind the marshal because I couldn't be trusted to be roaming around.
Now, do you think that he secretly wished he could kind of do stuff with you like that, but he was afraid as these were going to be his livelihood? Or do you think he just was one of those kids like, music is where I want to be?
He's always known. He's always known. He's always been about 80, even at 5 years old. He's always had such an old soul that there was no interest. Yeah. There was no interest in going outside and playing, or he did try to involve himself with me, but like I was a wild one and he was like, I'd much rather just learn this entire Beatles album.
Yeah, your dad said he would like learn it in a day or 3 days or something crazy.
Yeah.
Now, what has been some of the most exciting things for you that you like? I've gotten to meet some crazy people, go to some amazing things because of my sister. What's been some of the highlights for you that the benefits of being Marcus's sister? Like, has he taken to meet certain people? What's been kind of a highlight for you of like that you've gotten to experience because you're Marcus's sister?
I would have to say Clapton. Going to meet Clapton was pretty awesome. I mean, I have to, but because, that's one of my daddy's idols, so just to watch my daddy melt there was no words, he was so happy. And to tell the truth, I've met so many people that I don't even know who all I've met, because their taste in music and my taste in music is completely opposite, which is another disconnect. I could probably tell you every single word to every Eminem and Lil Wayne song to where they wouldn't have a clue. But I know the whole Stevie Ray Vaughan album, the Beatles album. I know all of their music. I didn't really have a choice, but I know all of it. So that's another,
Well, do you think, because you guys aren't that far apart in age, right?
2 years and 8 months or 9 months.
Yeah, kind of like Vanna and I. Yeah, so it's interesting that you have a complete different music. Because I remember growing up with my sister, we kind of listen to a lot of the same music. Mm-hmm. Whoever had the record player and bought the record got to play it.
Right.
Now, if Marcus could play with anyone that you would love him to do a duet with, that you would like, I'm going to be on stage, who would that be?
Oh man. He's kind of knocking them down, to be honest. Because I love Chris Stapleton, Jelly Roll. Let's see. Ooh, that's a hard question. I
Well,
wish I
you
had a
mentioned him, and
questionnaire
you
to
mentioned
study.
Eminem and Lil Wayne. I mean, be a
I mean, and because right now they're doing the country and the rap collabs right now, and I think Marcus King and J. Cole would really sound good, or maybe like, or even Eminem,
I think that'd be
and
interesting.
just put a
That'd be an
twang to
interesting one.
it.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. So
Mm-hmm.
Eminem, I know you're gonna watch our episode. So reach out to Marcus. You guys do a duet. Um, now, just back up a little bit, back to your dump truck, because I still am fascinated by that. Look, all guys love dump trucks, right? My first kid's word was truck when he heard the garbage truck. Yelled it from his room before he said mom or dad. What what drew you to that, and what's been, other than up in North Carolina, what's been kind of the most rewarding and most harrowing events that have happened? Because it's not easy to do.
No, no, it's not. Especially a woman in the field. You do have to. You have to definitely stand your ground where that's concerned. And it can't be a playground. You know, you can have fun once you get to know these people and they know to respect you, but you have to demand your respect first. And by doing that is by doing a good job. Um, and you have to work circles around the men that are there, because it's not an open door. Well, you're a man, come on in. It's more of, because there'll be 5 men that come in, they all get to dump right here, easy, back up and dump. Oh, I want you to dump all the way down there and around the corner and go all the way around the bend. And then when you get down to the bottom, that's where you're going to dump it. And then when you do that, they're like, okay. But so it's a lot of proving yourself, a lot of having respect for yourself, and demanding the respect in the field itself. But I've always done blue collar, mainly because I've been a single mom for so long. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm a single mom, I've got to make man money in order to provide and keep up a household. And I've also had a lot of hospice patients, so family members. So I've always had so many people to take care of. I couldn't just go work in an office, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it wouldn't have cut it. And so my only other option was, well, let me put my boots on and go out there and show them what's about to go down, because I'm on the way. So that's what happened.
It would be pretty interesting to see you as a executive assistant, not taking any not taking any of the crap from anybody.
And I don't. They always say, "Where's boss lady at?"
Yeah.
He sent her out here.
Um,
There's been a few that I've had to let have it.
yeah.
Hmm.
With your boys, do they want to? Do they have any musical inclination or want to try it? Is like Grandpa and Uncle Marcus really like kind of putting guitars in their hands and trying to teach them? Or are they like, we'd rather go jump out of the tree?
Um, my oldest is definitely, his dedication is to football. Now my youngest, he's picked it up and he's tried. Um, he has he has an older soul too, and some of the music that he comes with me with that he actually knows is like, how do you know that song? Um, and he actually does chorus, and both of them can actually sing pretty good. And I tell them that, but they're like, no, I can't. I'm like, well, one day you'll realize that you really can. But they
Well,
haven't like picked it up and ran with it.
well, when they
They're
get a
both
little
athletic.
older, you can tell them if they sing for the girls, they'll smile a lot better than if they just catch a football for them.
I mean, and if you do both
Yeah,
now.
but it hurts
Yeah,
less to sing than to get slammed by a 300-pound dude.
right. I mean, I guess it depends on the female.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little rougher around the edges, you know.
Now,
But
you grew up you grew up in South Carolina, right? Or were you guys traveling when you were there?
no, I've always lived in South Carolina.
Okay, so you're a Carolina girl. Do you do you want to, after the kids are grown up, go hit the road, maybe live somewhere else, travel with
Um,
Marcus?
well, I'm actually waiting. I've already put in all the work there is to put in, as far as where I stand right now. But I'm about to go out and drive tour buses.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take my boots off, I guess, and step into an entirely new industry. And the long-term goal would be to, you know, I'll drive my brother's bus, but there's also several other artists that, you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind driving either. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on. And I'm just really waiting on a phone call. When that phone call comes, I'll be getting on an airplane.
Well, it is a
And
different life. We're friends with a lot of musicians and have got to know some, and with and a lot of their tour managers, and their tour managers like, well, let's see, we bus loads at midnight and we got to beat the place at 6, so my hat's
well, you
off
know,
to you.
that's been my whole life. That's all I know. That's all I know. I could probably do every position there is, as far as tour managing, as far as driving the bus, as far as organizing the equipment. Because let me tell you, if you put, you know, anything in the wrong place, Marv and Marcus both will freak out. The cable bag got to be in the right place. Everything. Don't let the cables be mixed up or tangled up. God forbid. I have been their roadie my whole life. And so with being knowledgeable of what is already going on will also really help me, and I think that I'll really enjoy it. So I'm just gonna go and see, you know, where it takes me, and I can really change my life and my kids' life and start something new.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I love just going on a tour bus and looking how cool it is, and you know, I'm sure it's always, everybody thinks it's the glamour life, but I'm sure after 9 months you're like, I need to get in my own bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as you said, you've roaded basically for them a lot through your life, obviously. What has been the most unpleasant experience as being their roadie?
Um
I'm not looking for dirt. I'm just kind of want to.
Looking for dirt.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not looking for dirt. I
As
just.
far as I don't think there's anything unpleasant. You know, I've always carried their equipment. You know, I guess being maybe, I guess, different. You know, because as soon as the show ends, you know, genuinely everyone's going to flock to the performers, and I'm just the roadie. But we grew up as a trio. I'm just kind of back here, you know, which is fine. I am shy, um, but it still does something to your spirit a little bit.
I hear you. I can. It's. I've watched that. With my sister being, it's kind of fun to. It's fun to kind of sit back and watch, but also you kind of sometimes like, hey, I'm over here.
Right, and it's not jealousy. I wouldn't say, because I'm gonna clap for you. You know, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna do all the things because go you. You are freaking awesome and you deserve this. But when you're the only one that's kind of outcasted, it's like, ooh, this is kind of a gross feeling. Um, but as far as like that really like drove me insane would be the picking. If you plug into an amp, okay, but to sit on the couch and just go lick for lick, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, honey. And that's all I can still to this day hear it in my sleep. Just picking, 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 picking. My daddy knows when I come to his house, he goes ahead and puts the guitar in the corner on the stand because I'm like, can you stop that?
Yeah.
He says, oh, yeah, I forgot. Let me go put it down. I'm like, thank you.
Well,
Thank
it's like,
you.
it's especially guitar and music. I mean, my sister's different a little bit in the fact that she goes and does her job and then she can focus. But if you're a musician, your guitar is your number one lover basically, and
It's your third arm.
Yeah, and you're kind of going, hey, I want to spend some time with you. Focus.
Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, yeah. I can you see me? Like, because that's another thing. Am I invisible? And I crack on them like that because I'm like, I'm a jokester, so I'm like, can you see me? I see you. Do you see me? But I understand it's such second nature to them that they don't realize that they're doing it until you're like, hey, talk to me. I want to enjoy your company. And all I'm hearing is ding, 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 ding. And then they're like, does that sound good? What's that sound like? Terrible. Stop. So
Well,
I guess that would be my pet peeve.
Yeah, well, that's a good one, man. Well, hopefully you get a little bit of from the podcast. You'll be able to step just a little bit out of the shadow and get some sunshine of your own. That's the whole point of us doing this, is to kind of like, hey, we're relatives, but we want a little sunshine too, right?
Some sunshine.
A little sunshine
I
ourselves.
I don't know. I guess I like to work for my accomplishments and my attaboys. I'm good with an attaboy. But yeah, my daddy was like, yeah, they want to interview you. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have crawled like under a table. I was like, me? I was like, are you sure? I was like, ask him again.
Well,
like, make sure of that because I'm kind of awkward.
Yeah, but for me, it's fun to talk to a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad, it's a different conversation. A mom is a different conversation. A wife or a husband's a different conversation. A sibling, it's like we just had that conversation. Like, hey, I am over here. When they're out in public and the public's like oohing and ahhing, and you're kind of like, I sometimes have to kind of feel like I'm the bodyguard. Like give them the mean look.
I was their bodyguard. Their roadie and their bodyguard because they are not here for the violence. Yeah. And I'm just like, get away from them. It's time to leave. Yeah. I am ready to go. But so let me ask you, are you older or is Vanna older?
I am younger. I'm about like you, just a little under 3 years younger. She's
well,
younger.
I'm big sis.
He's younger than okay.
Yeah, that's my baby brother.
Okay. So I'm the baby brother, so
okay, we'll see.
So my sister is a lot like you in the fact, like, no, she wasn't fighting for me, but she's always been very protective and nurturing and generous and comforting and stuff. And I was the little shit, so
right.
I was a little, pardon my language. But yeah, maybe it's an older sister thing than an older brother because she would always have my back. Now, I'd always
right. And I would, okay, I can't even candy coat it. I would bully him a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I would just try to toughen him up because I was so worried. I was like, you have such a beautiful soul and you're so kind. And what if I'm not there to help you? Like, you got to be able to help yourself. And then, to see that he can just throw monitors around like it's nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got muscles.
He's a pretty big boy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now that kind of brings up, if he's playing high school gigs and are you kind of making sure he's not getting bullied in high school? What were the high school gigs like?
He played a lot of talent shows and things like that, but his friend group was the same. They were all so chill, so mellow, like they may smoke a little bit, or but there was still a very chill crowd, and they were all like, "Yeah, your sister's wild," but they also all knew that if they needed me, they could call me, and he always has just stayed very zen, very zen. So I never really had to. I've had a few girlfriends that I've had to, remove. But other than that,
that must be pretty intimidating for when he starts dating someone and you're kind of giving them the one kind of stink eye, like, "Are you good enough for my brother?" thing.
right, right, and I try not to do that because that's not cool. That's not okay.
Well,
But
I hope you
at
like
the
his
same
wife.
time, it's there. It's there.
I hope you like his wife, and hope you guys all get along really well. And is he I know he's on the road a lot, so it's kind of tough. Is he a fun uncle when he's with your boys?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They love Uncle Marcus, and they'll text him. They text each other, and of course, I wish that he could be around more, but at the same time, he also shows them that if you love something, you chase it, and you do it, at 100% and no less. And that's what I try to show them too, that it may not be at the same pace, at the same level, at the same financial status, but it's still, you just keep going, you just keep grinding, and as long as you're going, you're good. You just have to teach them ambition. And so on both sides of the spectrum, it's still, I think, teaching them how to be a functional, decent member of society.
Okay, so we're getting close. I have a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
What song, if you have the radio on and it comes on, instantly transforms you back to a day in your childhood? What day, what song, and what is the memory it takes you instantly to?
Ooh, you have good questions. You should have sent me this so I could study. It's always going to be Stevie Ray Vaughan for me. Stevie Ray Vaughan, it was really my daddy's. That's my daddy's just idol, and he almost plays just like him. I can't tell him that. He's going to see this and smile, because when I was younger, I was like, I hate Stevie Ray Vaughan, which I didn't, but I knew that would make them mad. And let's see, as far as the memory, I mean, that's I don't know. There's so many. There's so many. I mean, there's Hank Williams Jr. There's the Beatles. There's so many that, and it's always just sitting around and everybody just singing, playing together.
Okay, last question. What question did I not ask you that you really wish I had asked?
I don't know. I think you've done a really good job.
All right. Anything we didn't talk about you want to share?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I'm sure that everybody can see my sweat here.
No, you look great. You're not glistening. You look good. Okay, my niece is a tattoo artist. We had her on the show, Vanna's daughter. I think I can't remember what episode she was. Tell me about your arm real quick. That'll be my last question. Tell me about your arm.
Okay. It does go all the way up, and I'm not finished. If it was up to me, I would look ridiculous. But so this is the East Coast Lighthouse out at Folly. Since I'm from the East Coast, I have a pirate lady and a pirate ship. Which I do have a cool story about this pirate ship when I'm done with this. And then 333, which is, it's a king thing, all of us. see this number everywhere for generations now. And then right here it says, a smooth sea never created a skilled pirate, which is, kind of self-explanatory. An easy life never gains no wisdom. And you have to have wisdom in order, you have to grow into the person that you're going to be. You have to have life experiences, whether they're good or bad. But with the pirate ship now, so I went and picked Marcus up from the airport, and he handed me his suitcase luggage like this, and I grabbed it like this, and we got the same tattoo on the same day in 2 totally different countries. And he was like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, well, "Where did you get that?" He was like, "Man." So he gave his a ship name, and I gave mine a ship number. That's why mine is ship number 333, and his is the Anna Lee Jackson, which was actually my mother's name. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Well, if you get out to LA, you'll have to go see my niece, Gigi Santapietro. She's at Lincoln Tattoo. She does amazing work. I don't have any, but you can follow on Instagram too and see it. She does great work. Okay. Holland, this has been awesome. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and thank you for your time today. Awesome. I appreciate you having me on here, y'all. Thank you. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one. Bye. That was awesome, man. What an amazing young lady. I'm so thankful she was on. Marvin, thanks for hooking us up. Marcus, looking forward to seeing you again soon. And you, the viewer, thank you so much for being here. Without you, we wouldn't even have a podcast. I want to thank our sponsor, visitmyrtlebeach.com. They are helping you find the perfect family vacation in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Most beautiful coast. Beach is great for kids, for swimming, surfing, sometimes scuba diving, golf, restaurants, lots of family things to do. And you can find all that at visitmyrtlebeach.com. That's visitmyrtlebeach.com. Again, I want to thank our producer, Philip Nelson, and Nelco Media. I want to thank Nelco Comics for the amazing comic book shop here in San Antonio where we shoot the show. If you're looking for a comic, check out Nelco Comics in San Antonio. And finally, if you are related to someone famous or know someone related to someone famous, I'm constantly looking for new guests. You can reach me at podcastrelativelyfamous@gmail.com. That's podcastrelativelyfamous@gmail.com. Thank you.
You've been listening to Relatively Famous with Chip White. Please like and subscribe to Relatively Famous with Chip White.